You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Right now, with 7 voters in Southwest Missouri and Southeast Kansas decide local propositions and elections. Also, community volunteers beautify the Carthage Park for holiday visitors.
It's also going to be a very beautiful day out there. You can see in downtown Pittsburgh. Very sunny and clear, a little bit on the cooler side, but will warm up as the afternoon progresses. Your forecast coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Donald O'Keefe. It is 7 o'clock in the morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday. It's hump day technically. We're halfway through the work week. I feel like it's been a good one though, and I feel like the weather's helping us enjoy it.
Yes, I definitely agree. Waking up, it's definitely feeling pretty good out there. The weather's going to continue through today to be pretty nice and also through the rest of the week. So definitely feeling pretty good, yes. I would say.
And somebody else who seems to be feeling pretty good is Dick Van Dyke, who's marking a century with Dick Van Dyke, reuniting with the Friends of Sesame Street. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has a look at these stories and more in today's Hollywood Nation.
How to get back to Sesame Street, where to celebrate an icon's birthday, and when Wig is being honored in the Hollywood Nation. Women in Film is presenting Palm Royale star Kristen Wiig the inaugural Icon Award at their annual gala this year. The honor is for performances which have captured the zeitgeist, defining a generation and shaping the cultural landscape. The ceremony, which raises funds for Women in Film's programs, will be held November 6th in Beverly Hills.
Happy birthday, darling.
In today's First Looks is a tribute for a legendary entertainer, Dick Van Dyke 100th celebration. The documentary includes film and TV moments and interviews with Van Dyke and friends. It's in theaters December 13th and 14th.
I cannot miss Christmas.
What an incredibly unique thing about you, Kevin.
The Jonas Brothers get festive in the trailer for A Very Jonas Christmas. The film features the trio facing a series of obstacles trying to make it home for the holidays and streams on Disney Plus and Hulu November 14th.
Guys, I've got this.
There's so many different things to learn about.
Elmo, Big Bird, and Friends star in today's First Looks with the reimagined Sesame Street. The show has interactive episodes full of music, learning, and fun, plus a new animated segment, Tales from 1, 2, 3. The series drops across 3 volumes with NASCAR champion Bubba Wallace as the celebrity guest in Volume 1. It launches on Netflix in 30-plus languages, debuting on the streamer and PBS Kids November 10th. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
It's so cool to see something like Sesame Street span so many generations, because I know I grew up watching it. I was an early 2000s kid. I know so many people have watched it just for years. And so there's, kids whose parents watched it or grandparents even watched it.
I agree. I mean, I was a 90s kid, so I definitely grew up watching it. My parents introduced me to it. It's just such an amazing program that it's been on for so incredibly long. And I hope that it continues through the next couple of generations as well.
As well, yes. I mean, it's just so perfect and special.
Yeah, you know what also is perfect and special? This morning feels really good. Let's take a look at downtown Pittsburgh at this moment. Joplin is going to be included in this forecast, but we're looking at Pittsburgh at this moment. Beautiful sunny skies out there as you're waking up. Looks really good with the morning colors. I just love the sunrises and sunsets out here. It just really sets a pretty good mood. Just look at those beautiful sunrise colors right there. A pretty good rainbow going on. That's pretty typical this time in the morning. 7th and Range Line, not too busy at this moment. People are starting to get out the door. Range Line I-45, or I-44, excuse me, not looking too bad out there at this moment. People are starting to get out there, get their morning coffee. Right now, there is a little bit of fog that is starting to come up out there in Sedan, about 7.5 miles in the water. There is that patchy fog down there in northeastern Oklahoma, but for the most part, it looks pretty good. And like I said, just a little bit more fog out there in Chanute, 7.5 miles. So fog is starting to appear, but most of the area looks pretty good as you're driving into work. Temperatures are also looking pretty good as well. Low 50s. A little bit on the cooler side over in Nedosha at 43 degrees. Not too bad as you're waking up. This is the coolest time in the morning, but things are going to start warming up as the morning progresses. Future track has some north winds coming in. Those winds are eventually going to shift through the rest of the day, but clear skies and a beautiful sunny day. We're going to look forward to that as we progress through the day, getting up to about 69 degrees, beautiful sunny skies. But I'll have a complete look at your forecast coming up.
Donald, thanks. Your votes are in. We're getting the numbers from area elections that affect your budget, your schools, and your neighborhood. We start in Barton County, Missouri, where voters have 3 separate money issues on the ballot. The first proposition covers residents in the entire county and asks for $1.50 per ton landfill fee to be used for county-wide economic development. This proposition passes. The second asks voters living within the Barton County Ambulance District to pass a use tax matching the county's sales tax. This one fails. In Lamar, Missouri, voters have narrowly approved a 0.5% sales tax proposal to build a new aquatic center. A sales tax that would remain in effect for 30 years, but the money generated has the potential to provide enjoyment for the Lamar community for generations to come. The half-cent tax will fund a $4.4 million aquatic center to replace the facility that's been closed since 2022. The old pool suffered major infrastructure problems and large leaks that city officials say cannot be repaired. City officials say the old facility must be completely rebuilt from the ground up. The tax will cover both construction and operational costs for the new aquatic center. Supporters say this proposition provides an opportunity to restore community programs like the high school swim team and give families a reason to stay in Lamar. This tax question brought several questions from the community last August. The city held a town hall to intend to answer some of those questions. For Scott city leaders say that tax question is essential for funding street repairs, equipment for first responders, and park improvements. 80% of the tax revenue goes to fixing roads that date back to the 1800s. In Parsons, Kansas, voters decided to continue a 0.5% sales tax after the current one expires in 2027. This tax designed to help reduce property taxes in the city. The issue passes by a wide margin. Chanute voters rejected a new sales tax for economic development. The 0.15% tax would have funded business recruitment and retention. In Allen County, voters decided a 0.25% sales tax to fund health care services for the next 5 years. This includes funding for the Allen County Regional Hospital. It passes by a nearly 3-to-1 margin. Also in Allen County, La Harpe residents were asked to decide a 1.5% sales tax to fund street projects and other capital improvements. It narrowly passes. And this is something you don't see every day, even in a small town. Unanimous agreement. Every voter in Altoona, Kansas said yes to a 2% retailer sales tax. This tax will help fund infrastructure improvements for the next 10 years. Voters in Crawford County, Kansas decided school board and city government races in a number of communities yesterday. The deputy director of elections reported turnout across the county as steady and typical for an off-year election.
These odd-year elections with the city school generally aren't very energized, I guess, but I mean, it's pretty normal that we get around 20-some% like that, and it seems about trending towards that.
We'll have the results from a number of Crawford County races and more later in the show. You can keep up with your latest election results throughout the 4 states by scanning this QR code. It'll take you to the Decision 2025 races and results page of our website, KOAMnewsnow.com, and we'll have more election results a little later in this newscast. Well, some folks rolled up their sleeves and got to work in Carthage's Central Park yesterday. Vision Carthage hit the park to pull annuals and winterized flower beds for Carthage Water and Electric Plant that will soon hold Christmas trees for sparkle in the park. For Vision Carthage, a nonprofit working to improve the city through beautification projects, events such as this also are a great way to get the community involved, especially kids and students. This is now officially the longest government shutdown in history, and there are no signs either party is ready to back down. Fox News Chief Washington correspondent Mike Emanuel has more from Washington.
I mean, it really is stupid.
It's a record nobody here in Washington wanted to see broken. The government shutdown is on day 35. It is now officially the longest in history, and frustration is growing on both sides.
Democrats will reveal what this was about all the time, which was a political play.
They're okay screwing people over on their health care.
The motion is not agreed to.
On Tuesday, the Senate failed for the 14th time to break the Democrat filibuster. There were reports that a short-term continuing resolution was being floated by some lawmakers, but there doesn't appear to be much traction. And the main sticking point remains funding for the Affordable Care Act. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he's now taking his case directly to rank-and-file Democrats.
We're going above the heads of the so-called leadership, and we are appealing to the consciences of a handful of people in the Senate who want to do the right thing.
But Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says that won't work because his party is united behind the push to restore those health care subsidies.
Lowering people's health care costs is the definition of common sense.
Meanwhile, President Trump once again called on Republicans to use the so-called nuclear option, ending the filibuster, to get the government up and running again.
He feels really strongly about this. Republicans need to play tough and they need to play smart. That's how the president feels.
Senate Republicans say they're working on a plan that could have the government back open by the end of the week. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, we have a look at this year's Cato Days, which celebrates Cato's pioneer heritage and history. Well, welcome back. We're joined here with Cheyenne from the K-State Extension Office for Wildcat Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So I know we're here to talk about something kind of really fun, about getting kids kind of involved at home, especially during the holiday season.
For sure, yeah, we're going to talk about how we can get kids involved in preparing Thanksgiving meals, making sure that we're scaling things down to their level so that they can really take ownership and then be more open to trying maybe dishes that they wouldn't necessarily be open to trying if we get them involved in the kitchen.
Amazing. And kind of going off that, you know, why do we want to get them involved in the kitchen? Why do we want to make them part of that process?
Yeah, so if we just take them into a meal where maybe there's some family they've never seen before, or there's a lot of strange dishes, we only have them once a year, you know, cranberry sauce looks kind of intimidating if you don't see it every week. But if they're involved in making that process, if they've been the one who tore apart or cut the broccoli, if they got to stir something up or they got to make the bread rolls, that really helps them get involved and take ownership. And then maybe they're open to say, hey, I helped make that cranberry sauce. I got to cut up that broccoli. I think that I would like to try it because I got to help make it. So they're open to trying the things. It also helps them to kind of gain skills in the kitchen, right? We want them to be able to grow up to make their own food and all of that sort of stuff. And as we get started right now, we can take them starting right now in the grocery stores as you're starting to plan your recipes, even if you're looking at the recipes with the kids and saying, hey, do you think that we should use this recipe for the green bean casserole or whatever you're making, or if we should use this recipe? And then taking them to the store and letting them pick out the ingredients, helping you choose between brands of green beans, stuff like that. They can really start to take ownership and then be more open to trying those dishes or showing off their skills at Thanksgiving.
Amazing. I know involving kids in these processes can be so fun, but I know for some parents it can also be a little bit stressful. Are there any tips you guys have on how to maybe help make this process easy on everybody?
For sure. I think the first thing that you have to remember is that they've probably never done this before. So we're going to need to use as many details in the instructions as possible, right? Even if it's something as stirring in eggs. They don't necessarily know that they have to break the yolk and stir super hard. They don't know that they need to stir gently to make sure that the batter for your cake stays inside. So making sure that we're demonstrating to make sure that they see us do the skill, maybe assisting if you have a super small one who's maybe not strong enough to mix some super stiff cookie dough or something first, making sure that we're assisting as needed, breaking it down to their level. You know, even the littlest ones can find some way to get involved, because if you can play with Play-Doh, then you can definitely knead some bread dough or make some balls to make rolls. I promise that they have the skills, maybe just reading through the recipe and identifying, oh, my kiddo does have the skills to crack an egg and put it in, or my kiddo does have the skills to stir this batter, but maybe I should demonstrate to make sure that they don't spray the flour everywhere. Making sure that we're giving super specific directions so that they know what's happening.
Amazing. Well, these sound like great tips. Is there a specific place people should maybe go to look for more resources that you guys offer? For sure. We have, through National 4-H, they have a bunch of different cooking curriculums. If you get onto the National 4-H site, you can get different booklets of curriculum that have some different recipes that you could try out maybe between now and Thanksgiving to start to have them practice those skills before it's the big day and everyone's there and you're getting stressed out. National 4-H has resources. Some different states extensions have really great resources about identifying which skills fit which age group as well. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Cheyenne. We'll be right back. Thank you for having me.
It's a beautiful day out there, as you can see in downtown Pittsburgh. Sun's rising, very beautiful clear skies, a little bit on the cooler side, but not too bad. It is going to warm up through the rest of the morning and into the afternoon. 7th range line. Look at those beautiful colors as the sun's coming up. It's like a rainbow out there. That's what I love about out here. The sunrises and sunsets are just so amazing, and I can never get enough of it. Taking a look at range line I-44. Getting a little bit busier out there, but not too bad. Pretty clear skies for your driving conditions and right there. But right now there is a bit of fog out there in Yates Center and Chanute. Chanute actually just about a little over 2.5 miles of visibility. So make sure if you're driving in that area in Chanute and Fredonia, you guys are being careful, because that fog definitely increased over the last probably about hour or so. So just be careful as you're driving through. But most of the area looks pretty good for fog, except for that little patchy area. So let's take a look at our temperatures regionally wise and why we're going to see some cooler-ish temperatures today. So there's a low pressure system way up there in about Michigan. You can actually see that line go all the way down to Amarillo. Right there, you can see that line. Those winds are going to be coming out of the north. That's why we're going to have a little bit cooler temperatures compared to yesterday, but not really that much. Taking a look at our future track here Wednesday, today at noon, there's those northerly winds, but clear, beautiful skies. That trend is going to continue through the afternoon at about 4 o'clock. Still north winds, very clear, beautiful sunny skies. Then through the evening into the overnight, those winds are going to start shifting from the east at about 5 a.m. on Thursday. Still very beautiful sunny morning, and then through the day, by the time we get to about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, those winds are going to shift from the east back to the south. And it is going to be on the windier side for tomorrow as well, but still going to be very nice and sunny and beautiful. Tomorrow actually might be the warmest day of the week because of those stronger southerly winds. And then by about Thursday evening, we're going to have some clouds start to build in, but still it's going to be a pretty nice day today and tomorrow. But looking at your day this morning, 55 degrees at 8 a.m., sunny skies through the morning. At 11 a.m., we'll get up to about 65. Pretty nice start to your day. And then getting up to about 69 degrees for a high, 67 at noon, and then that 69 high is going to be about 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Northeast winds about 5 to 10, so definitely not as breezy as it was yesterday. Tonight, we're going to drop down to 49. However, it is going to be a slight cool down. 6 p.m., 63 degrees, still pretty sunny. 8 p.m., 56, clear moonlight skies. 10 p.m. 53, and like I said, 49 for a low. So a pretty nice evening as well. Taking a look at our 7 to 10 day, 69 like I said for today, 74 for tomorrow on the breezier side, 72 on Friday, and then another front is going to push through this weekend that is going to cool things down. You can see Saturday 69 degrees. Look at that temperature right there, 27 degrees as you're waking up Sunday morning. So it's going to be definitely a lot colder, freeze and frost possible for that temperature right there. And then Sunday 48 degrees. It's going to be pretty cool on Monday as well, 51. But then we are going to see another warm up by about Tuesday, getting back to those mid 60s, possibly again 70 by about Wednesday. But let's appreciate this nice weather while we have it. That's a look at your full forecast. More news and weather after the break.
Well, welcome back. I'm joined this morning with Jen Harris and Matthew Wells here to talk to us a little bit about the upcoming Cato Days.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having us, Samantha.
Can you tell us a little bit about, for those at home who may not know, what Cato Days is?
Cato Days is basically a celebration that we do every year. It involves a school day where we bring out most of the area 4th and 5th graders to do an educational experience where we have 7 stations set up with presenters who talk about different things. And then again, on that following Saturday, we have the actual Cato Days for the community where we invite everyone to come out and enjoy the festivities.
Amazing. Can you tell me a little bit about, what Cato Days is celebrating or honoring?
It's basically honoring Cato, which is the first town established in Crawford County. It was also a stop-off on the stagecoach between Fort Scott and Baxter Springs. It has an immense history and still has an original one-room schoolhouse. So it's something that a lot of people in this area don't know about, but it's a unique thing to see.
Amazing. So what are some of the different things that people may be able to find when they go to Cato Days this Saturday?
Well, there's lots of events that'll be happening, especially on Thursday. We'll be having having Civil War weaponry. We'll have blacksmith. We'll have a Native American presentation. Have the chuck wagon, drovers driving cattle demonstration.
And then on Saturday, starting at 9 a.m. registration, followed by some music and history there at the church, and then a full day of festivities. We'll have a group coming in to do a reenactment of the 1860 Indian Removal Act, some cavalry saber drills. There'll be a hayride, food, talks. It'll be a full day of festivities.
It'll be like stepping back in time, it sounds like.
Yes, ma'am.
Amazing. You've kind of already talked about it, but can you tell us just one more time when and where and what time this is all happening, where people should go?
You would go to the Cato Schoolhouse, which is in the northwest of Crawford County. If you head up 69 Highway, you'll see many signs directing you off to the west there to be able to get back, and they have signage all the way there. That will take place on Saturday, would be the day that we would ask the community to come out and enjoy the festivities. Like I said, registration 9 a.m. in the morning on Saturday, followed by music and history 9:30 and many other things throughout the rest of the day. Thursday will be the Children's Day, so not so many regular community folks will be there that day. That's more for just the schools.
But the community is invited to the Thursday as well.
Perfect.
That would be great.
And you can see that website, catoschool.com. That's where you're going to be able to find, I think, a full list of all the events you guys will have going on and a little bit more information. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. I know you have an exciting performance coming up at the end of the show as well, but we'll be right back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:32. I'm Samantha Walker. Voters weighing in on yesterday's election Tuesday on key races, which could take temperature on national politics. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen reports.
In a trio of key races today, issues like affordability are front and center. Both parties will be watching closely for any insight into how voters are feeling. In America's largest city, voters are picking their new mayor, and the stakes are high. The frontrunner is 34-year-old Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani. He's hoping to defeat former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, who is now running as an independent.
If they want to vote for a candidate endorsed by Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Stephen Miller, by all means, they should vote for Andrew Cuomo.
This is going to determine the future of the city of New York. May also determine the future of the Democratic Party.
Trailing both in the polls, Republican nominee Curtis Sliwa. Across the river in New Jersey, voters will decide what has become an increasingly tight contest for governor.
I'm going to work relentlessly to drive down costs for people.
We have an affordability crisis in New Jersey, and I can address that on day one.
In Virginia, voters will choose their first female governor. Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears faces off against former Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger.
You hired us, and we're so grateful that you did. And now here I am, 4 years later, again asking for your vote.
We need a governor who is working tirelessly to mitigate every harm that might be caused by a reckless and chaotic administration.
And in California, voters will decide if the state will be the latest to redraw its congressional maps, which would likely hand over seats to the Democrats in the midterms. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Now here's Donald with a quick look at your forecast.
It's a beautiful morning out there, as you can see in downtown Pittsburgh. The sun is coming up. Beautiful, clear day. It's going to stay like that pretty much all day. Temperatures are going to warm. 7th range line. Look at those beautiful colors as the morning is coming up. Those clouds are out there pretty far off in the distance, but clear blue skies as you're getting out there, doing your morning routine, getting your coffee, driving into work. Range line in I-44 looks pretty good. Nice, clear conditions at this moment for this area, but there is still a little bit of patchy fog out there, especially in Chanute. Just a little over 2.5 miles of visibility, Yates Center about a little over 6 miles. So definitely some fog out there in that area in particular. Fredonia about a little over 7.5, but most of the area looks really good for driving conditions at this moment. Clear skies. Temperatures are feeling pretty good as you're waking up this morning and well. 49 there in Joplin, 43 down in there in Sedan and Nodisha. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. A little bit on the colder side there, but not too bad for most of the area. It feels pretty good as you're getting out the door. Looking at our future track, Wednesday at noon, northerly winds are going to be coming in, bringing in just a slightly cooler air than it was yesterday, but things are going to change. Wednesday at today at 4 p.m., still very clear, sunny skies. And then eventually those winds are going to start to shift from the north to the northeast, and that will actually change. But I'll have more about that in your full forecast. But today looks really good. High of about 69. Really nice, beautiful day as the day progresses. Still on the chillier side, cool side, but not too bad. But I'll have you look at your full forecast coming up.
Thanks, Donald. The Columbus community honors a youth who died after being thrown from the hood of a car. Yesterday, friends, family, and community came together for an honor walk for Columbus High School junior Quinn Lloyd. It took place at Springfield Mercy. The ceremonial event was held in recognition of Quinn, who was an organ donor. Quinn suffered serious injuries Thursday when he was thrown from the hood of a car. Responders got Lloyd to an ambulance and then a helicopter, where he was flown to Springfield. Students from Pitt State School of Construction got to step outside of the classroom, putting their skills to use within the community. KOAM's Kenny Foreman gives us an inside look at their latest project.
If you're looking to play pickleball at Four Oaks Park, you might notice some work being done along the sidewalk. Believe it or not, that work comes from the hands of students who are mixing in the concrete. Assistant Professor Christopher Pross says it's been in the works for quite a bit.
They will actually go through and do an estimate, a schedule, a contract, and then physically go out and manage and construct the project. So a little bit more hands-on component of how we do things.
For the students, having this kind of hands-on experience can be very valuable, especially as they look to enter the construction field after college.
We believe that is a huge value to our students by not only providing them the background for the management, the professional side, but also having them understand what the hands-on component goes into that. So they can actually direct their laborers or their subcontractors in the field when they get out into the real world because they've actually done it.
Though professionals at Conco companies oversee the project, almost all the work is done by the students. And while they feel good about the work, there's always going to be hurdles that can't be avoided.
This applies out in the field, and it's a really good learning opportunity out here. You never know when it might come in and rain for a week, or you might not be able to get a piece of equipment that you needed, or something breaks down on you, and that's probably some of the biggest challenges we faced was equipment.
But in the end, their efforts are seen by the community.
A lot of the people out here that play pickleball, they're out here all the time from 8, 7 in the morning to all the way at 9 o'clock at night. And if we're out here working, they're constantly asking us questions, just wondering when we're going to be done, telling us thank you and how much they appreciate the work we're putting in for the community.
In Pittsburgh, Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
The planning process began back in August and involved collaboration with the Pittsburgh Parks and Recreation Department. The students range from sophomores to seniors looking to complete their capstone projects. Well, every first Tuesday during the school year, the First Presbyterian Church in Joplin holds a benefit lunch for a local nonprofit. This year, Loving Grace received the donations raised from the lunch of spaghetti red and chili with or without beans. The event was a way for the church to give a little more back to the community. And now here's a look at some more election results. In consumer watch, Chrysler is recalling more than 320,000 4xe model Jeep Wranglers and Grand Cherokees because the plug-in hybrid SUV's high-voltage batteries could fail and potentially cause a fire while parked or moving. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is warning drivers to park impacted vehicles outside and away from structures and not to charge them until they're repaired. The company says a fix will be available soon. As millions of people are considering their health insurance options during the open enrollment period, a new survey from hiring firm Howdy.com shows Americans are concerned with rising costs. Out of 900 people surveyed, 43% say they're worried about affording coverage next year. 1 in 3 people say they've put off medical procedures this year due to cost. Some even said they'd take a 6.5% pay cut in exchange for universal health care. And popular e-commerce company Shein opened its first permanent store in Paris Wednesday, but it comes amid an investigation and protests in France over the retailer's online sale of adult toys that appear childlike. Shein has since banned those items and suspended its adult products category. And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
It is a beautiful, clear, sunny morning as we take a look at downtown Pittsburgh right now. Look at that, very beautiful, clear skies at this moment. Sun's coming up, beautiful colors in that sunrise. Look at that. Look at those beautiful colors out there in 7th and Rangeline. That's what I love about out here is the sunrise and the sunsets are just so amazing. I can't get enough of it. Rangeline 944 getting a little bit busier as people are starting to get out the door, driving to work, getting their kids out on the school bus. It's doing their morning routine. It's not a bad morning. But there is a little bit of fog out there at this moment. Out there in Chanute, just a little over 3 miles of visibility. Fredonia, just a little over 7. Yates Center, just 6.5 miles of visibility. So that's really where our patchy area of fog is out there in the northwestern part of our viewing area. But the rest of the area looks pretty good for driving conditions, I would have to say. So when I said if you're driving out to work right now, just be careful up there and by Chanute. But the rest of the area looks pretty good. Temperatures are also feeling pretty good as well, but I'm going to take a look at the regional temperatures right now. We're going to talk about why it's going to be just a little bit cooler today. There's actually a low pressure system up there around Michigan, and you can actually see the line of that front that's going to be coming through today. Right there, there's that line. And that's bringing in those north winds. That's going to make it feel just a little bit cooler today compared to yesterday. And let's look at our future track. So today, Wednesday at noon, there's our north winds, clear, beautiful, sunny skies, and that's going to continue through the afternoon, about 4 o'clock. See, look at that, still north winds, beautiful, sunny, clear skies, not a cloud in sight. And that will continue through the evening into the overnight, but you notice that the winds are not coming from the north anymore. They shifted from the north to the east. And that will actually start to shift back to the south through Thursday. See right there, you can see about 4 o'clock, there's those southerly winds. Tomorrow is actually going to be breezier than today. Still going to be very nice and sunny. Tomorrow actually will probably be the sunniest and the warmest day of the week because of those southerly winds that we're going to be getting. And then by about the afternoon to the evening time, clouds are going to start to build in, but no rain associated with that. It's going to be a pretty nice day today and tomorrow. But looking at our morning, 55 at 8 a.m., sunny through the entire morning, getting up to about 65 at 11 a.m., so a pretty nice start to your day. And then by about noon, 67 degrees, and then a high of 69 degrees about 2 to 3 o'clock, dropping only a little bit down to 68 at 4 p.m. Winds out in the northeast at 5 to 10 miles an hour. So a pretty nice day, even though it's just a little bit cooler than it was yesterday. Tonight, not too bad either. Dropping slowly through the evening, 6 p.m. at 63 degrees, clear skies, getting down to 53 degrees at 10 p.m. And then our low is going to be at 49 degrees with winds out of the east, shifting out of the east from the east now at 5 to 10 miles an hour. So not too bad. Taking a look at our 10-day. So today, Wednesday, 69 degrees. Tomorrow on the breezier side, 74 degrees. Nicest, warmest day of the week, even though it's going to be a little windy. Take a look at that, though, on Saturday. There is a front that is going to come in and start to cool things down. 27 degrees as you're waking up Saturday morning into Saturday night into Sunday morning. Sunday is only going to have a high of 48 degrees. It is going to be cooler, but also sunny. And then we are going to see a warming trend by about Tuesday into Wednesday, getting back to those mid-60s to probably 70. But let's not take for granted this beautiful sunny skies that we're having right now before the cool weather starts to set back in. That's a look at your weather. More news and weather coming up after the break.
This is your Wake Up recap for November 5th. Your top stories to start your day. The Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce officially welcomes Betsy Mentz as its new president and CEO. The chamber hosted a meet and greet at the Roxy Event Center yesterday evening. Mentz previously served on the chamber's board of directors as executive director of the Children's Center of Southwest Missouri. Mentz says she's honored to serve the Joplin community. Voters in Crawford County, Kansas decided school board and city government races in a number of communities yesterday. The deputy director of elections reported turnout across the country as steady and typical for an off-year election. That's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
It's also going to be a very beautiful day. As you can see, 8 a.m., 55 degrees, sunny skies, warming up to 65 by 11 a.m., all sunny through the morning, getting up to 69 degrees, sunny all through the day. Winds out of the northeast at 5 to 10 miles an hour, and that nice weather will still continue through the evening, 63 at 6 p.m., dropping down to 49 degrees overnight, but still very clear skies. That warm-up will continue through the week into the weekend, but a cool down will be here by Sunday and Monday with another possible warm up by next week.
Well, now we have a live performance from Jim Harris.
Thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather.
I'm from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. I'm going to Louisiana, my true love for to see. Rained all night the day I left, the weather it was dry. Sun so hot I froze to death, Susanna, don't you cry. Oh, Susanna, oh, don't you cry for me. For I come from Alabama with my banjo on my knee. I had a dream the other night when everything was still. I dreamed I saw Susanna coming down the hill. A buckwheat cake was in her mouth, a tear was in her eye. She said, I'm coming from the south, Susanna, don't you cry.